I'm Yashna Jham. I'm the co-founder of Uloy Labs, where we built this tool called the Open Knowledge Framework, which essentially collects large-size qualitative data and analyzes that for different organizations. And today I'm going to talk about some of those learnings from our tool and what are the frameworks we've applied, and take those learnings and to share what can you do when it comes to call data. Um, and I'm a design researcher myself, a previous avatar, but I am. And it feels like it's an honor to address folks from design, from journalism, from creative backgrounds. It feels like it's all coming together. So thank you, Vischitra, for giving me this opportunity. Uh, I feel I don't want to thank everyone who follow Aditi, but I hope I can keep you engaged a little. Uh, yeah, but before I start, I just want to share a story. This is a story when I was on ground. This was in UP, in really remote parts of the country in the state. And there was this program running, which essentially was on menstrual pads and distribution of menstrual pads by the government of Uttar Pradesh. And interestingly, that program also had a survey done over time, which said that the school girls going to schools were using menstrual pads, and that was one of the most successful programs at that time. And that was about a 90% success rate on making sure girls use pads. And we were on ground, we met this principal who shared that just before she joined, which was a month ago, this program was a complete failure. And we said, why do you say that? The stats of the school also say that it's quite a success. And she said, because the attendance was still poor. She had been monitoring, and she said there was no impact. That was one of the outcomes of the program, that if you're distributing menstrual pads, there is and should be an impact on the attendance, because girls should come to school since they feel safe. So we asked her, what did you do? How did you find out what's happening? And she said, I got all girls together and asked them if they got the pads all these months before she joined. And everybody said yes. And then she asked, have you been using these pads? And again, it was 100% yes. And then she asked, for what? Any guesses what the pads were being used for? For stuffing pillows. Because nobody told them and nobody asked. And it was all about that survey. And qualitative data captures that. It captures the nuance often missed by metrics. And it's so important to capture at programs, at an organization level. It needs to stand next to the quant to know what the complete picture is. And this is one story, one school, one stakeholder. And it is what happened. It is a real story. We don't even know. We by chance found out. But it is a real story and a real insight from the ground. But what happens when there are so many people talking about their learnings, talking about their stories, talking about what's happening on the ground? It's really hard, and there are a lot more challenges. Anybody who has worked with qualitative data, a show of hands. Can't see much. Some of the challenges that you faced. Anything? Survey fatigue. Survey fatigue. Anything else? Quantifying it. Okay. Documenting these signs. Stakeholders thought? Oh, interesting. Interesting. Perfect. Perfect. Super. I think all of these are a part of the challenge, but one of the primary part and the starting foundation of that challenge is that qualitative data is messy. And when it comes to scale, you don't know what to do with it. It could be from interviews, it could be survey fatigue, it could be from different places. You may not always get call data through surveys. It could be stories of people when they're going through something. If you've launched a program on the ground, how do you collect and capture, and how is it there in one place? It could be different teams from across the globe, across the country. And today I'm going to share, not all, but share some of these challenges and how we've been able to structure them across different organizations, and just some of the frameworks, essentially, what we've used to capture these stories when it comes to different people. And these are not quantum physics. This is not quantum physics at all. This is essentially just putting that lens back, because rather than feeling overwhelmed about call, it's just making sure that there is something that we can start with. The first one being listening with intent. We often feel if you're capturing qualitative data, take everything. You want to start with something, just capture everything, but it's really important to make sure your intent is defined well. It's really important to know, are you capturing best practices, or is it to understand behaviors, or is it even to understand what are the early warnings for a program success or a product success? That inquiry needs to define the intent, because then everything follows. So that's one of the main takeaways that we felt organizations have when they change that lens. The second part, it might sound like an oxymoron that you structure the unstructured, but you need to structure the unstructured. And some of these ways have worked for us of structuring qualitative data when it comes from different places, when it comes from different stakeholders, even directly. So if there's survey fatigue, can we capture directly from people who are on the ground? Can they share, right? And can that be structured and standardized? That's one of the most important parts, at least we feel, when you want to do sense making. Can at the capturing stage we do some kind of structure at that point for it to be easier to sense make? So you don't have to read what's on the screen, but I'll just share few techniques that have worked for us. This is an example of a story from school leaders across, and this is a program that we're running, and platform we're running with school leaders across 5 countries, now expanding to 15 countries, where we said, how can they report their challenges, and a lot more nuance can come in terms of understanding where all they need support. So we start with templatizing, which is like, how do we make sure you are capturing standard information for you to actually do sense making after, but not to the extent that it's like a quantitative survey. You need to have open-ended questions where it could be, what are the challenges you currently face? And in that, there is something called hints and nudges that we provide, which we say, if you are a researcher on ground and you are doing the job of asking a question and then just nudging a little more and saying, or fir, what else? What happened after that? Those nudges help you give that nuance to people. And that brings your a lot more richer data from the ground. The second part and the third part is essentially tags, which we call it tags, you could call it what you feel is right. But when you are capturing qualitative data, are you making sure it's tagged with how you want to discover that information? Can we add the country where it's being reported with? Can we add the thematics the story is talking about? Can we add, what is the support system in a government school? Is it a government school or another school type? Can I find and tag those right bits for it to be then discovered? And the last part is, once the data comes in, there is another layer of fragment annotation and tagging and finding thematics that you can do for it to then be possible to make sense of it. And these then become your metadata. They're not just labels on your story that, hey, this belongs this here, because that metadata helps you make meaning using that structure. Once we have all these anecdotes tagged, this metadata allows us to make sure that this data becomes your knowledge unit. These knowledge units can then be visualized in whatever form. And I think I'm not the right person to talk about visualization. There's been too many conversations around that, and we can see how can that be quantified. Somebody said you can quantify. How do you quantify data? When tagged well, the data can really speak to the depth, and it's not just leaving it at the visualization. You could also find cross linkages. You can say that, hey, I want to tag, there is a challenge specifically lack of time, and I want to see what is the cross between policy alignment, and then find if there is a connection between the school type. And then you can even find the raw data that was associated to one or two more tags, because this will give you a lot more insight and a lot quicker to find what's happening at a state level, at a district level, at a country level, or even at a micro sub-district county level. The last one I feel is one of the closest to my heart, because I made a point that how call data needs to come in, and that's important and you shouldn't miss. Same way con data shouldn't be missed when you're telling a story. I could have told the story just by saying, hey, girls don't know how to use it, use the pads, and that's an outcome, that's finished. But can we see the data, and can we make meaning of it together? Can we find something beyond, like can we know what the quant is saying and what the qualitative data is saying? Because that structured call together put will give you an insight which could be way beyond any of the insights from the visualization, which could be like, hey, I want to know about the challenges, and what inside those challenges, what are people speaking about? Is there more to it? But before I wrap up, I just want to talk about these few points that we've spoken, but just also addressing the magic sauce, which is often considered as the magic sauce. But the reason why I didn't start with AI is because without structure, AI is like garbage in, garbage out. Like, what will you do? I mean, AI won't know how to do if you're saying, hey, take my call and just summarize it, But about what? What is that I want to discover? So the structure enables AI to do its magic really well. And what we've seen, what has worked for us is it gives an overview very well. If it's structured, as I said, it will give you overviews on program, like summaries around program level, or really zoomed in summaries, which could be at a granular level. And then I can go and validate and deepen, because I've gotten something. And then I'm like, hey, I want to now fetch. The second one is when structure is there. When structure is there, we can identify themes and patterns very quickly. And the last one, and I'll end with that, is that we change the lens. So we work with a lot of qualitative organizations on ground who do not know how to make sense of data. And for them, AI helps them, because you can do pattern asking and not pattern finding. And it's easier because it's structured. It is easier for them to know what has happened. I'll skip the impact, but if you want to know how it's been helping organizations across India and even outside, I am happy to have a chat after this. So just to summarize, structure is the backbone, AI is the amplifier. And a plea to you all, make sure you give stories a structure, because we're starving for meaning and we're not drowning in data. Thank you, and I think I'm out of time, yeah.